Hello everybody. I will be discussing in this lecture about two transistor models. Two transistor models. Now, why the question is why this is required or where this is required, the two transistor model. It is to analyze the AC operation of transistor amplifier. Now you know what is AC load line and why is it required and how the AC load line can be drawn. Now let us move on to more inside the AC operation of transistor amplifier. And to analyze the AC operation of transistor amplifier, we need to have an AC equivalent circuit to be drawn for a transistor, and based on which the analysis can be done. So in other words, we need a model for the transistor that will simulate how it behaves when an AC signal will be present with it. So this model is basically divided in two types. One is T model and another is pi model. So there are two types of AC equivalent circuits. So these are nothing but AC equivalent circuits of transistor amplifier. So let us first see T model one by one. So first let us see what is T model. Now it is one of the earliest of AC models, and from there this T model had been developed, and that earlier AC model was Ebers-Moll model. Ebers-Moll model. So this was one of the earlier times AC equivalent circuits or models for transistor amplifier, and I am drawing that here. You can see NPN, there are three semiconductor layers. It is representing a transistor or BJT. This is the collector terminal. So at this direction IC is represented, collector current. This is the terminal base, the middle layer, where IB is directed, the base current, and this is the emitter terminal through which the emitter current is being released, and all in small letters. That means they are representing the AC form of representation of different currents of for the transistor. So this is represented as the T model. So it is like it is a BJT, and its equivalent circuit I will be drawing shortly, and why it is called T model I will also explain that. Now as far as small AC signal is concerned, that means this model will be dealing with small AC signal. That means it will be useful for small signal analysis. The emitter diode of a transistor acts like an AC resistance, which is RE dash. You know all about RE dash from the I have discussed about RE dash, the AC emitter resistance in my previous lecture, and you know what is RE dash. So if we consider the base emitter junction as a diode of the transistor, diode for the transistor, it will act like an AC resistance RE dash. We have seen in the last lecture if the input signal is a small signal, and the collector diodes acts like a current source IC, because you can see at the collector this it is represented by the collector current IC, though. So the collector to base junction will be producing the output current IC, and therefore we can say that the collector to base junction will act like a current source IC. So now let us see if this is the BJT, how the equivalent circuit of this BJT will look like in terms of the T model or as per the T model. So this is my NPN BJT as I had drawn in the at previously. This is IE, this is IB, and this is IC. So it is equivalent to a circuit which is given by a current source representing the collector diode. It is directed downwards. It is the symbol of a current source, AC current source obviously, and this is RE dash emitter resistance, AC emitter resistance. So this is the equivalent circuit with respect to this. Now this is the representation of emitter base junction diode, rather we can say, and this is the representation of collector base junction diode. So if diode, now this is that junction, this is actually JEB and this is JCB. So one is junction JEB, another is junction JCB. So here this is the junction which is JEB and this is the junction which is JCB. So these two junctions are represented by an AC current source and an AC emitter resistance respectively. The value of this AC current source is IC, which is flowing downwards, and the emitter current which is releasing from the transistor node is IE. This is emitter current, and the incoming current through the base terminal is small ib. So this is called the equivalent AC equivalent circuit of this BJT. Now since this model is alternately called, I have told you in earlier times, this circuit was called Ebers-Moll model, but since it looks like it resembles a T, English alphabet T, it is something like this, like an English alphabet T, this equivalent circuit is alternately called T model. So when analyzing a transistor amplifier under this model, we can replace each transistor by a T model, and then we can calculate the value of the different values used over here, that is RE dashed and other AC quantities like voltage gain etc. from the given currents IC, IB and IE, and these will be discussed if required later. So this is nothing but the T model. Now let us see the pi model for transistor amplifier. So these are nothing but the representations. So the pi model is when an AC input signal drives a transistor amplifier, an AC base emitter voltage VB, which is small VB, it is AC base emitter voltage, and this VB is measured across the emitter diode. So I am once again repeating that when an AC signal drives a transistor amplifier, the AC base emitter voltage VBE across the emitter diode, that means across this junction JEB, is, or alternately we can say JBE, that should be denoted by AC base emitter voltage, which is VB, small VB. This produces an AC base current IB. So the reason for this current flow IB is because of this barrier potential or input applied voltage greater than this barrier potential VB. That is the reason for this IB at the input to flow. That means the base current to flow at the input. Now the AC voltage source has to supply this AC base current. Now this AC base current will be supplied by any AC voltage source, so that the transistor amplifier will work properly, or in other words we can say the AC voltage source is loaded by input impedance of the base. That means as if an AC voltage source, since this IB will be flowing, that means we can say in other words, it seems that an AC voltage source is connected at the input, that is the base, and from there this IB current has generated because that source is being loaded by this transistor at its output. That means this transistor will provide an input impedance, and as if it will be seemed that the AC source which is supplying the connected at the base, which is supplying the IB, is because the input impedance of this transistor will be acting as a load to that input AC source which is generating this current IB. That means we can say as if an AC voltage source is connected at the base of this transistor, which is having a value VBE, and that is generated a current, that is generating a current IB, base current, because it is delivering this current to a load represented by the input impedance or the base impedance of this BJT or transistor amplifier. So we can say and accordingly the amplifier will work properly. So if we now draw two different diagrams, one is something like this. This is IB, this is IC, and this is RE dashed, and this portion is IE, and between these two terminals, plus and minus, it is AC base emitter voltage, which is VBE, small VBE. So this is one diagram, and another diagram we can draw from here, concising this diagram. This is IC, this is RE dashed, this is IE, and this is IE, and the input impedance looking from this base terminal is denoted by Zin, input impedance of base. That means by looking through this base terminal, the impedance that will be observed is represented by Zin. This is input impedance of the BJT. So what I have discussed till now about this about the existence of this voltage VBE across the base emitter terminal, and for that it is seemed to be driving a load which is represented by the input impedance of this transistor amplifier, and that's why the current IB is being flown through the input terminal or the base terminal. And this idea has been represented in circuit form, which will be giving you the pi model. So these diagrams will be giving you the idea. You can see that this VBE is replaced by a input impedance at the base, that as if this VBE will be supplying current to the input impedance, which is treated here as a load at the BJT amplifier or the transistor amplifier, and that load is driven by this input AC source, and because of that this IB current will be flowing. So looking into the base of the transistor, you can see the AC voltage source which sees the input impedance Z in base, and at low frequencies this impedance is purely resistive. Now you know that at the low frequency the whole thing, all of the quantities will be behaving like a DC. So at low frequencies this impedance will become purely resistive, because you know that in the resistance there will not be any AC part, and it will be a purely resistive element or a resistive circuit, and it will not be having any frequency dependent part. A resistance means resistive part means it is frequency independent. That means its impedance means impedance frequency independent. That means you can say that if something is resistive in a circuit, that means its operation is frequency independent. So the pure resistance will not be having any reactive part, which will depend on the frequency. So at low frequencies, the frequency dependence of different quantities in a transistor amplifier circuit will be less, and hence this input impedance will be purely resistive at low frequencies, and this will be defined as Z in base at low frequencies. It is almost resistive and defined as VBE. That means resistance, you know, voltage divided by current. So VBE divided by IB. So this is Z in base. So this is the formula that is used for pi model, representation of pi model. Now applying Ohm's law to the emitter diode, if we now apply Ohm's law to this part, that means to emitter base junction, then we can write what we can write. We can write VBE is equal to IE RE dashed, because you can see that IE is flowing through RE dashed, and that is flowing from this node up to a ground to the other side. So you can say the voltage between base emitter terminal, if this is the base terminal, this and this is the emitter terminal, so between these two terminals, or rather you can see over here, the between these two terminals the voltage is VB is being applied, considering the whole, not between these two, but considering the whole two terminals. That means here it is base and here it is emitter. So between these two terminals this VB is measured, and this VB is the responsible quantity for the current IE to flow through resistance RE dash. So from there we can, by using Ohm's law, we can write this VB is AC base voltage, base emitter voltage will be responsible for flowing of IE through RE dash. So if we substitute this equation into the last equation, that means if we substitute this one into this one, so what we get, that means we Z in base should be equal to IE RE dashed divided by IB. IE RE dashed divided by IB. Now since we know IE approximately equal to IC, these two currents are almost same, you know, because IB will be very small, so this IE and IC will be almost same. So we can write from here Z in base is equal to IC RE dashed divided by IB. So now what is IC by IB? It is something beta AC. So since it is beta AC, we are not writing it here as AC, because without writing anything here as AC or DC, it will mean it is AC only. So beta means it is obviously beta AC RE dashed. So this is another equation where the input impedance of the transistor amplifier will be equal to beta into emitter AC emitter resistance. So this is one of another important formula for solving problems. This equation tells us that input impedance of the base is equal to the AC current gain times of AC resistance of emitter diode. So please try to remember this formula for solving different numericals. So now if up to this the approach of finding the pi model is ready, this is the approach of finding the pi model of transistor amplifier, it is now ready. Now let us move on to see what is the actual pi model of the transistor. So first let us draw the pi model. This is IB, beta RE dashed, this is IC, and from here this is IE. And there is another circuit, IB is flowing into this, the particular T model which I had drawn a little while earlier. This is RE dashed, this is IC, which is a current source, and this is an AC input resistance, or rather we can say AC emitter resistance, not input, AC emitter resistance. This is IE. So this represents, it is like a pi symbol. So this model is called pi model. Now this is the pi model of the representation of transistor amplifier. It's a visual representation of we can say the equation Z in base equal to beta RE dashed. So if this is the equation, its visual representation is this pi model. That means this beta RE dashed is represented as an input resistance, which is nothing but being called as Z in base, and you can see from through this terminal IB is flowing. So this side is the input base current, and there the input impedance is represented by beta RE dashed by this resistance in the pi model. So this is the pi model AC equivalent circuit of transistor amplifier, especially in common emitter mode circuit, because in common emitter mode you know that between base and emitter the input circuit is considered, and between the collector and emitter the output circuit is considered. So we can say that here that the pi model is easier to use than the T model for different reasons, and because this is equivalently drawn like this, as previously we have seen about this T model also. So and it is because the input impedance is not obvious when you look at the T model. When you look at the T model, that means in this model the input impedance is not very clear, but here the concept of input impedance through these derivations we have established we have established that the input impedance is can be measured with this, using this empirical form. So we can say that on the other hand the pi model clearly shows that an input impedance which is given by beta RE dashed, it is quite explicit and specific, with load will load the AC voltage source driving the base, and the base will act like a input impedance, that means act like a resistance, and that will be driven by the AC source that is being applied or connected at the base terminal of the transistor amplifier. Now since pi and T models are AC equivalent circuits for a transistor, we can use either one when analyzing an amplifier. Most of the time we will use the pi model because it will be helpful, much more helpful than the T model for analysis purpose. And but with some circuits like some applications or some circuits with op amps or differential amplifiers, the T model gives a better idea of the circuital action. So both the models are generally quite accepted in the industry. So now let us analyze the amplifier, analyze an amplifier, the action of an amplifier in the light of its DC equivalent and AC equivalent circuit. So next topic is analyzing an amplifier. Amplifier analysis is complicated because both DC and AC sources are in the same circuit, those are present, so it is always complicated to analyze the operation of an amplifier. But to analyze amplifiers, we can calculate the effect of the DC sources and then the effect of the AC sources one by one. Gradually we can calculate each of the effects. Now to analyze an amplifier, let us see the DC equivalent circuit. DC equivalent circuit. The simplest way to analyze an amplifier is to split the analysis into two parts, the DC analysis and an AC analysis. So for that we need to first draw the DC equivalent circuit and analyze. So analysis of any transistor amplifier is divided into two parts. One is DC, another is AC analysis. And for DC analysis you need a DC equivalent circuit. So I am just discussing about very fundamentally about the analysis of a transistor amplifier in the light of its DC and AC equivalent circuit, because it is the analysis is having two parts. One is DC analysis, another is AC analysis. In the DC analysis we calculate the DC voltages and currents, and for doing this all the capacitors those are present with the transistor amplifier will be kept open. That means will be considered or will be mentally thought of as open circuits, because you know for the DC operation transistors will block the DC and capacitors will block the DC signal and nothing will be allowed to pass. So due to the presence of capacitor there will not be DC signal flow, therefore the capacitors are considered to be working as an open circuit. They are visualized like that, and based on that the DC equivalent circuit will be drawn. And with the DC equivalent circuit you can calculate the transistor currents and voltages as required by you, and if you are doing some troubleshooting then some approximate answers you can get. The most important current in DC analysis is the DC emitter current, and that will be needed to calculate the RE dash, that means the AC emitter resistance for AC analysis. So what I have told just now, the most important current in DC analysis is DC emitter current, that means IE. This is the most important current, DC emitter current, to be calculated, but must be calculated, I should say. It must be calculated. It must be calculated, and also that this is required because when we move on to AC analysis it will help us to calculate the AC emitter resistance, which is called RE dashed. So this will be helpful for you. Now AC effect of let us see the AC effect of a DC voltage source. So I am just discussing very fundamental things for the analysis of transistor amplifier. So it will give you all the fundamental knowledge. Now let us draw a figure first. This is VCC, this is resistance R, and this is an alternating signal, like this. So now in this figure we can see that it is a circuit with AC and DC sources. In a circuit both AC and DC sources are present, and what is AC current in a circuit like this? Let us find out that. As far as the AC current is concerned, the DC voltage source acts like an AC short. Now why this is so? So I am repeating once again that as far as the AC circuit is concerned, so when we will be checking the AC effect of a DC voltage source, that means what is the AC effect on this voltage source VCC. When we will be checking that, we will see that the DC voltage source will act like an AC short. That means the input signal source connected via R to this is denoted by Vs. When this is delivered to when AC signal source through R is delivered to a DC source VC, this VC in AC analysis will be acting like a short, and this node will be called AC ground. So this is the fundamental concept. Now why this is so? Because a DC voltage source has a constant voltage across it, because the voltage across this source is a constant, and therefore any AC current flowing through it, so this is constant, voltage across this is constant, so any AC current flowing through it cannot produce an AC voltage across it. So if we consider that this source is acting as a load to this AC source, so whatever AC signal is being transferred by this source through R into VCC will not produce, it will not produce any AC voltage across it, because across this source the voltage is always constant, which is equal to VCC. So if no AC voltage can exist, the DC voltage source will be equivalently acting as an AC short, because AC short means the voltage across these two nodes, the ground and this node, between which the voltage source was connected, here the voltage will be, there will be no change of voltage due to the presence of this Vs, which is driving this VCC like a load, and as a result, because of no change across this DC source, so therefore the voltage should be a constant value, and we can say that the change in AC, that means change in signal or current at the input, will not produce any change at the output, that is across this VCC. So that's why there will be no change in voltage. So we can say that is any AC current flowing from the input side through it, that means through this R into the output load, which is here which is a DC source here, the output load, there will not be any AC voltage across it to be produced because of the connection of this source with this load. So as a result, we can say the no AC voltage will be existing across this VCC, and the voltage will be always still a constant value, and so we can say this voltage source will be equivalently acting as a AC short, because for a short circuit, you know, the voltage is 0 or no voltage. So we can say that it will, this source in the presence of this AC input will be acting like a AC short or AC shorted to ground, AC shorted to ground. Okay, another way to understand this idea is to understand the superposition theorem. What is superposition theorem? If multi sources are involved in a particular circuital operation, then the action of individual sources, if summed up, will be equal to the action of both the sources taken together. Okay, so sum of the actions of individual sources will be equal to the equal to the overall combined operation of the sources. So we can say that if we can calculate from here by applying the principle of superposition, the effect of each source acting separately, that is once by taking Vs, the action of Vs, considering VCC as 0, and in the second case considering the action of VCC on the circuit taking Vs as 0, and those two actions, if summed up, will be the overall action in this circuit with the presence of two sources simultaneously. So reducing the DC voltage source to 0 is equivalent to, when we will be reducing this DC voltage source to 0, will be equivalent to shorting the output. That means it is something like this. So therefore, to calculate the effect of AC source in this diagram, we can short the DC voltage source. That means DC voltage source will be shorted and the effect of AC source will be counted. And from now onwards we will do what? We will short all DC sources, hence for analysis of AC operation of transistor amplifier. So here is a big conclusion, that is short all DC sources connected in transistor amplifier circuit for AC analysis of it. AC analysis of operation, we can say. So in the above figure, it means that each DC voltage supply point will act like a AC shorted to ground. Okay, so this is nothing but the AC effect on DC voltage source. So if we summarize what is the outcome, the AC effect of DC voltage source means the DC voltage source should be shorted to AC ground in presence of an AC voltage source at the input. Now let us see what is AC equivalent circuit in case of what is meant by AC equivalent circuit in case of a transistor amplifier. So after analyzing the DC equivalent circuit as earlier, in DC equivalent circuit what we will do, we will mentally open or visualize all the capacitors present in the circuit as open circuit. So in the DC equivalent source, what we have seen, to get DC equivalent circuit, visualize to open all capacitors present in the circuit. So this is the main idea of getting the DC analysis of transistor amplifier, and also to find the DC equivalent circuit. And this DC and the main criteria of DC analysis or main idea is to find the DC emitter current, because it is required to calculate the AC emitter resistance. So to calculate or find out DC emitter current, that means capital DC emitter current, that means capital IE. So this is the important calculation for finding the DC equivalent circuit of a transistor amplifier. Now let us see what is AC equivalent circuit. So after analyzing the DC equivalent circuit in this way, the next step is to analyze the AC equivalent circuit. In this is the circuit. It will remain after you visualize to short all capacitors and DC voltage sources. So to combine these two concepts, so first you need to short to find the AC equivalent circuit. Step 1, short all capacitors present, because you know capacitors for all AC signal, the capacitors, more and more the signal frequency will be easier for the capacitors to pass those signals through them. So capacitors will be acting like a short circuit in case of AC equivalence for transistor amplifier. So in the step 1, you need to short all capacitors, short circuit. This is the first step. And another step is you also have to short the DC voltage sources, because we have seen short DC voltage sources, because we have seen that the AC effect on the DC voltage source is just to mentally short this to ground. So these two are the steps to find the AC equivalent circuit of transistor amplifier. First you have to short all the capacitors present, and then short all the DC voltage sources in the circuit. Now if these two steps are undertaken, then in the next step you can replace the transistor either by pi model or T model, which we have seen just a little while earlier, and we will show later that the mathematical details of how to do the AC analysis. And now let us focus our mm discussion on how to get the AC equivalent circuit for different type of transistor amplifiers, considering base biased amplifier for example and voltage divider bias amplifier. So let us see for taking two examples. One is base biased amplifier, another is voltage divider biased amplifier, and let us see how these amplifiers can be analyzed with the help of drawing DC equivalent circuit and AC equivalent circuit. Especially we want to do AC analysis of these transistor amplifiers via the DC analysis. So in the left, this is the base biased amplifier. This is the basic design. You can understand the base is from VCC. The voltage is taken through RB, which is base resistor, and given to the base. So it is base biased amplifier, and this is nothing but the voltage divider bias, because R1 and R2 along with VCC is forming the voltage divider circuit. So in the first amplifier you can see after we visualize to open all the capacitors and analyzing via DC equivalent circuit first, we can make this circuit ready for AC analysis, and to get the AC and equivalent circuit for this base biased amplifier, we can short all capacitors and DC voltage sources, as I have already told you. All the DC voltage sources and capacitors, that means this one and this one, will be shorted. And in the same way, in this voltage divider amplifier, its AC equivalent circuit can also be drawn. All capacitors and DC supply sources should be shorted, and the transistor is replaced by then corresponding either T model or pi model. And in the base circuit, the AC input voltage appears across this resistance R1. That means this voltage will be appearing across this R1. R1 and R2 will be in parallel, along with the input impedance of the transistor, which is beta Re dashed. In the output circuit, that means at the collector side, the current source, which is there in the pi model or T model, that will supply an AC current of IC, small IC, through this resistance parallel with this load RL. So similarly in this circuit also, in its AC equivalent circuit, the transistor can be replaced by a pi model or a T model. So let it be a pi model. In the base side, in the that means at the input side, the AC input voltage that will be appearing across this RB, that means this voltage will be appearing as input voltage appearing across this input resistance RB, which is the base bias resistance, and that will be in parallel to that will remain in parallel to the input base resistance or impedance of this transistor as given in the pi model or T model. And also in the collector side, there will be a current source represented by collector current IC, and that source will be driving a current in resistances RC and RL parallel with each other. So let us see all these concepts. To considering all these concepts, let us see how the diagrams will be look like. For base biased amplifier, the AC equivalent circuit will be like this. You can see from here, this is the input side and this is the output side. This is nothing but a pi model. You can see, you can check from its shape, it is a pi. This is the input side of the circuit, and so this voltage source will be given as here, and along this voltage source there will be a parallel resistance RB, and the input resistance of this transistor, or rather we can say input impedance Z in base. We have seen how to calculate the value of Z in base. Z in base was how much? Beta Re dashed. We have calculated a little while earlier. So this will be the resistance RB represented by RB, that is in parallel with this Z in base, because RB, the current through RB is divided in two paths here. So one path is here, another path is here. So whatever resistance at the input of the base is in parallel with RB. So these two are parallel, and this input of base resistance or base impedance Z in base is beta Re dashed. So this is the resistance represented by beta Re dashed. So this will constitute the input side of the AC equivalent circuit for this particular transistor amplifier. So this is AC equivalent circuit. Okay, and at the output side in the pi model, you know, at one side there will be AC emitter resistance Re dashed, and at another side it will be a current source, constant current source. That means this is the resistance represented by the emitter diode, that means emitter junction, base emitter junction, that is JEB. I have already discussed with you a little while earlier. And this source, the current source, this is represented by collector junction, you know, in the pi model. One is collector junction at the output side, one is emitter junction at the base side. The emitter junction is represented by a resistance Re dashed, and the collector junction is represented by a current source given by IC, the collector current, and this IC will be flowing through this RC parallel with RL, because here at this node there are two paths. So RC and RL is in parallel, current is being divided in two paths, so they are in parallel. So this resistance will be RC and this resistance will be RL. So this will be represented by the output circuit of this transistor amplifier. So this transistor amplifier's AC equivalent circuit is this one. This part is the input circuit comprising this area, and this part is the output circuit comprising this area. So one is this area which is given by here, another is this area given by here, this part. So this is base biased amplifier. Now let